We all need food to stay healthy and happy, and plants are no different. But while we can pop around to the local store and get what we want, plants aren't that lucky. They are quite literally rooted to the spot, and they depend on us gardeners to give them most of the nutrients that they need to grow and prosper. So what happens when you're standing in the fertiliser aisle at your local nursery and there's so many choices? It's quite confusing. So where do you start? Well, it's time for a fertiliser masterclass. First up, it's vital to know the difference between soil conditioners and fertilisers. Let's deal with soil conditioners first. Soil conditioners are really necessary in your garden to improve the soil, to improve water holding capacity, compaction, and also to alter pH if necessary. Soil conditioners are things like bag compost or homegrown compost. I use that a lot in my garden. And things like bag manures, cow manure of course is really good, and worm poo, that's a beauty. And even the liquid seaweeds, they're really good in the garden because of what they do to the soil. The difference between a soil conditioner and a fertiliser is that the fertiliser has essential nutrients good for plant growth. And you can tell because they always contain N for nitrogen, phosphorus with a P, and K for potassium. Fertilisers can also be liquid or pelletised and organic or inorganic. So what's the difference? What's in them and what's best for different situations? Let's start off with inorganic and organic fertilisers. Inorganic fertilisers are synthetic, they're man-made, and some people might freak out when they hear synthetic fertilisers. Well, I don't think there's anything to worry about. They are concentrated forms of often naturally occurring minerals, and if you use them correctly, they're good in the garden. The main advantage of inorganic fertilisers is that they deliver precise concentrations of nutrients to the plant and are often tailored to the requirements and needs of a specific group of plants, for example, citrus or roses. On the other hand, organic or natural fertilisers are manufactured from one or a combination of organic ingredients. And organic just simply means that they were once living. Things like dead fish. You've got pelletised chook manure and, of course, blood and bone, which is an obvious source, or you can have a mixture of the ingredients. Organic fertilisers usually have a lower quantity of nutrients than do inorganic fertilisers, but they're slow releasing, and as my grandfather said, you can't do any harm with blood and bone. It takes about 6 weeks to start to work, and it's slow release. You can't burn the plants. And you'll notice that most of the organic ones have a bit of a smell. When it comes to fertilisers, you can also choose between liquids and solids. Let's look at liquid fertilisers first. Plant roots take up nutrients when they're in liquid form, so it stands to reason that these liquid fertilisers will work really well as a quick fix. The thing about it is that you do it in the growing season, when the plant is growing and fruiting and flowering. Spring and summer is ideal. Organic liquid fertilisers work a treat on fast-growing green vegetables. You can also use it if you're planting something in the garden or doing like indoor plants, bring them outside and give them a good water like that. It works very quickly and it's good for microbial action in the soil as well. Inorganic liquid fertilisers generally come in powdered form, so you need to make sure that they are put into some water and dissolved really well. They're soluble in water, so just stir it round and that'll be fine. Don't be tempted to double the dose. It can do more harm than good. It very often can burn the plant. It's easier to follow the instructions. Which brings us to solid fertilisers. And again, you've got the organic and the inorganic fertilisers. And the common factor is that they are slow release. You don't have to use the fertilisers every 2 or 3 weeks. In this case, you can use them once or twice every year. You've got pelletised chook manure, that's the organic variety. And then these ones are the inorganic. They're called prills. You often find them in a bag of potting mix. They're called control release fertiliser because they work as the temperature rises and as it gets wetter, hence the control. When it comes to choosing a fertiliser, there is such a huge range that it really comes down to a personal choice. And I just think by doing a bit of research, certainly reading the instructions on the label, and experiment in your own home garden, and you'll find one that's perfect for you.